Okay, here's my second episode or second posting to my website, California Underground. There's so much information to talk about. It's hard to choose, but the one that's on the front burner right now is this scandal where we just recently attacked some people in Yemen, and all these senior Republican leaders, CIA, intelligence, Department of Defense, a lot of senior aides, they were all on this conversation. And they use this app called Signal, which is a commercial app. And the reason people are using Signal nowadays is that it doesn't record your information. So there's no record of what you did unless somebody shows their phone to somebody. You can't subpoena somebody's record from Signal and get it. It doesn't work that way. So all these government officials, Trump officials, were using Signal to discuss this pending military strike that took place about 3 or 4 days ago. And so one is they were using an app so they didn't have any evidence. There would be no evidence of what they did. They're also using an app that the military, the Pentagon, just a few days before this had come out and said, Russia now knows how to hack this app. Do not use this app. So that's the app they were on, one that the Pentagon said, don't use. So they use this app and they discuss things like, we bomb these people or not? We're really helping out the Europeans, and the Europeans are super lazy. And they're saying things like this. And then it comes down to, all right, the F-18s have left the aircraft carrier for the first strike. The cruise missiles are en route. The bombs are getting ready to fall. All this detailed information about what was happening in real time. Now, turns out that somehow, one of the editors from the Atlantic magazine was included in this app or this chat. He didn't know it. He just all of a sudden found out that his phone starts saying, "Hey, you've got a message." And he clicks onto it, and it's this ongoing military strike and a discussion of what's going to happen and what is happening. And so he's sitting in the parking lot at like a mall or something, seeing what's going on, and he thinks it's a joke. And what it turns out is he eventually figures out this is really happening. Okay, I'm really somehow somebody made a mistake. They included me in a chat. I'm getting out, and he drops out of the app. Anyway, he doesn't keep quiet about this. He makes it public. Hey, I was included in an app that had top, very secret military operations in it. And so there's something wrong with security. So I've got a couple of problems with this. Okay. One is, you know, we, the American public, own the conversations that are official between official people in our government. We own those. And we have the right to have access to them. Sure, they can be classified and they can be sequestered. They can be kept from us for certain reasons. But to routinely say we're going to use things that we can later deny ever happened. So we're going to use an app that allows us to do this feels disingenuous. It feels criminal. It feels corrupt. And that's what the Republican Party was doing. This is the very same Republican Party that's using a known compromised app that Russia has access to. The same Republican Party wanted to throw Hillary Clinton in jail because she had a personal server that was handling her information. Okay, so the hypocrisy is just so abundant. It's not against the law to use this. I can use it. People watching this video can use it, but the government officials are not supposed to use it, and certainly not on an unsecured line, and certainly not with a journalist accidentally added to it. Then so they had some congressmen. They said, "Hey, we got to call some of these people up in front of us and ask them what actually happened." So they get the director of intelligence, forget her name, the woman that's got a streak of gray hair. They go, what happened here? And she goes, well, there wasn't any classified information. I guess she thought nobody would ever see what was on here. And so he goes, what about this thing a couple of weeks ago, that had classified information? Didn't you do that too? She goes, oh, I don't recall that. So something that happened had a bunch of classified information that they had a record of just a couple of weeks ago. She has no recollection of. And now she says she doesn't know if any classified information was sent out on just the thing that happened the day before. And the CIA director sat right next to her and said, yeah, I'm with her. I agree with everything she said. So they lied directly to Congress. These people have been in their position for about 2 months, and they're already lying directly to Congress. And then they find out, they bring it back in the next day and say, hey, we've got a copy of what was said. And these people are still like, oh, I don't recall that happening. I didn't know that was on there. It's just the blatant lying is just staggering. Then they asked Donald Trump, what's going on with this huge scandal that, you people are using forbidden apps to talk about top secret information. They're inviting journalists on inadvertently. And he goes, well, I don't know what happened. Something might have happened. I don't know anything about this. And then he starts throwing a couple of people under the bus and tries to stick up for people. And in the end, he said, it's just a small thing. And now there's a talking point that the Republicans have going on. They ask, why were you lying about this? Why was it top secret? Why are you using an app that you're not supposed to have? And what they said is, what we should really be focused on is how successful the strike was. So let's talk about that. The strike was the United States with an aircraft carrier using cruise missiles and F-18s to bomb the shit out of a country that basically hasn't even invented air travel yet. And they're calling that hugely successful. Aren't we brave? Aren't we tactfully superior? It was anybody could have done that. Botswana could have done it. And yet we're claiming that's the real issue here is we bombed the shit out of some people living in tents that don't even have internet. And that's what we should be talking about, not the fact that we lied to Congress, not the fact that we had a huge breach in national security. So that's kind of my rant on this thing. And probably the biggest thing about this is typical. This shit happens every single day. You're going to hear me say this over and over again, but it feels to me as if Donald Trump wakes up every morning and says, what's the exact opposite of a good thing that I should do today? Because he screws something up every single day. I have a book somewhere here in my library that says everything Donald Trump touches dies. Absolutely believe that. Now, he did say, I think it was yesterday, finally got on and said, look, all right, we did have a little glitch. It was just a little thing, but that's the first glitch we've had in the first perfect 2 months of my administration. So Rachel Maddow says, hey, isn't that interesting? And she goes on to talk about the first 2 months and all the things that have gone wrong. Not all the things, just some of the big things that have gone wrong for the first 2 months. That's the second video that you'll see right below this video on this this blog post. So if you watch this and you want to say, what actually, has anything else gone wrong? Rachel's got a list of them. So watch her video. It's very entertaining. That'll do it for today. Thanks a lot.